Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are making a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. I've got the lights off because Jimmy is nocturnal and I don't like to bug her at late hours because it's 12:48. Okay, we're working on the final cinematic for the demo here. So once you get the first tome past the dungeon, you unlock a song to play on your lute. Once you play the lute in the right spot and you play it correctly, it'll unlock this cinematic, which is just going to cleanse some of the area that you're in the starting zone. So how the game works is we draw these based on tile IDs. Every scene is 10 by 8 tiles, and they all have a number that corresponds to our master tile sheet. So the idea is, now the difference too is animatables are a little different. Animatables, if we weren't rendering the animatable, what you would see underneath a tile that's animating is just the first frame of that tile, because that's what we draw on the export, and then the game goes in and inserts an animatable, is what we call it. It's just a cycling range of tiles, and it inserts it over its own location. So they they pause when we go off screen, right? So they don't update the animation there, but we do have it where if you read a dialogue box, then the animatables still animate. Yo, what up, Salto? Yo, I've got to program a button to print out your website here so that when people are in here, or I can just like press the button and people can go check it out. I've got to add a Stream Deck button for that. That'll be cool. But yeah, so let's take a look at how this animatable's happening. So yesterday we kind of started to look at how we do this, right? We define a global, what I call an anim spitter. I call it an anim spitter because if you take a look at the code, all it's doing is just, it has a frame and it just updates the frame. It loops through the range of tiles that you declare for it. So I call it a spitter because it just spits out whatever frame it's on. So we declare it here as a water anim spitter. We give it a starting point, an end point, and a speed. Then what we do is we go, we take this water and we update it in the insert animation class. So that's kind of interesting. We'll have to see where we use this insert animation class. And also in the declaration, we declare it. Yeah, that's where we just found it. And then in our declarations, let's see what we're doing here. Oh, this is gnarly. So this is our way of putting into our scene the result of oh my gosh, this is crazy, because if you look at this is an insert anim. So it's not a spitter, it's an insert anim, and the insert anim takes in the current maps tile at the current row column, goes into the ID field and just assigns whatever anim you pass it. So we pass it the dot frame in the water. Now that's actually what the spitter of the anim spitter is. It's that frame, right? So as we update it, the anim spitter is the water. So the dot frame is what it's technically spitting out. So we're basically saying we're going to cycle through our world map. We're going to go into what we call an animatables table. And this is a kind of interesting thing we're doing here. Like, we're inserting a function itself into the table. So this is just in our map declaration. This isn't in the update or anything. So it's like, if gosh, how do we even? We're basically saying this triple ID here, map IJK. This is a 3D array. It's saying Map ij is the current scene, right? How many rows down, how many columns across, and k is which of the 80 tiles is this. So that's why we have this row and column. We do our row divided by 10. We do a modulo 10 to get the actual tile. So it's like, there's 80 tiles per scene. And we're saying if the tile we exported from our global map is a water anim starter, the very first frame, that's an enum for the first frame of the animation, then we're going to insert anim into the animatables table for that map. So let's see where we call this function, because this is just inserting the function. It's not actually invoking it. It looks like we insert it into our, what do we even do? Insert anim. This is where we define it, but I'm not seeing where we actually invoke it. Insert anim, let's see. Well, it could not be tied to this function. We can actually call it, hey, RZ, what's up? How's it going? We're gonna do this. We're gonna look for our animatables, and I bet we're invoking it from here. This is it. Okay. So we have a class called insert animation, and what it's doing is it's updating the anim spitter, right? So whatever frame we are at for our global animatables, then we actually go into our current row and invoke the function. We're doing a top-down adventure game like Link's Awakening, so it's a story about magic and music and peace ultimately. So it's kind of got a lot going on, but it's kind of all over the place. But it's also kind of just like chill. Okay, so where are we doing this insert animation then? It's crazy because it's like I know I wrote all this stuff, but it's just like the moving pieces in it is just insane. Animatables. So it's basically like this dot animatables in our play state is basically all it's doing is it's holding a reference to the frame, the current frame of all of our animatable tiles. So whether or not we actually have, for example, a water animating, it's going to know, hey, if there were a water here, it'd be on frame 1 of water, which is 1024 or whatever it is. So that's all the animatables is doing. But on top of that, it's also inserting the animation because we invoke our function that is in our animatables table, which is a function called insert anim, which is insert anim is the function, insert animations is the class, which, I don't approve of it, but I was responsible for. But yeah, so we have, basically the animatables is all we're doing is just we're making sure we update everyone, and then we invoke every function, which means we store. So like all this to go through the idea of how do we update our corrupted water to non-corrupted water over the course of a cinematic. So that's what we're trying to do. So the goal is to at least just refresh myself on how the animation system's working because it's so manual, you know? It's not like, yeah, it's just so manual because like our game only ever knows about the current scene we're looking at, and it has to load from the tile sprite sheet anytime you scene transition. So I'm trying to think of what we would need to do to change one animation to another in the course of the game. And I think like the idea is our insert anim. See, and I guess this, I'd be curious if we could change this, because this water, this all caps water, is a global anim spitter. That's literally what it is. It's what I call an anim spitter. So if we can go to where we define it, yeah, it's literally an anim spitter. And an anim spitter is all it does is it increments its frame if its frame is less than the ending quad. So it just cycles through. So the idea is if we go to a water anim spitter and we change the starting quad and the ending quad just to the global anim spitter, not even talking about re-exporting a global map with new tile IDs, but literally just saying, hey, this anim spitter, this water, is a dot starting quad at 1 through 4 or whatever, and just see if the new animation can be triggered. So let's do that. That'll be our starting point. So here in our play state, all I'm going to do is just go to our update, right? Well, yeah, I'll go to render and go into our update from the bottom, and then we're just going to listen for a key press event, right? So love.keyboard was pressed, and let's just say that we're going to test it with N. So we're going to say, well, if N was pressed, then what I want to happen is I want water, which is our anim spitter. I want waters dot starting quad, right? Starting quad, our LSP should know. Starting quad. If we look at our water, it's an anim spitter. We look at our anim spitter, it is a starting quad, ending quad, and then a current frame. So we'd probably have to reset current frame to starting quad, reset ending quad to for whatever tiles we want, and then we might be good. So we would need the dot frame too. So frame is gonna get whatever our starting quad is. So I'm gonna do this just by, this is like maybe the silliest thing I've done. I type in self knowing that I'm just gonna replace all self with water. So we do our starting quad first. We assign our starting quad to be a new value. Let's just do value 1, right? It's just our first tile ID, which is like grass. And then we're gonna say the frame is also gonna be 1 because it starts there. We would assign it by whatever we just reassigned it, so we don't have to hard code in anything. And then we would say the end quad is 4. So now let's just see if I'm right. If I know the game how it's working, then if we hit N, you know, RZ, I was kind of bad with that. I thought, or I initially made all caps be constant variables, and then at some point I kind of turned a couple globals into caps. So there's no real convention there, which I'm kind of not so great for. You know, I agree though. I think globals should be all caps and constants maybe some other kind of thing. But let's see here. So we've got water, which is our purple. We're gonna hit N and see if anything happens. Holy shit. It worked exactly how I was hoping. It worked exactly as I was hoping. It's animating a random set of tiles that we gave, which is our first 4, which is grass, like I said. This is epic. So basically, all we need to do is define an uncorrupted water, as a set of 4 contiguous tile IDs, and we don't even have to change the global map. We'll have to have some kind of flag that says, instead of on a key press, on an event, we'll update the animatable frame and starting frame and ending quad. And then if we save the game after this point, we just need to also save the state of the new animatable so that it carries over through the save game as well, because our global map is unchanged. Our global map says it's a corrupted water there, but our animatable tile that's rendering over the ground level tiles is saying, oh, well, I need a new starting quad and I need to cycle through. So this is really cool that it worked like this. So that's the beauty of like taking a little bit of time and just looking at what the heck your code's doing so that you can pull something off. So like the goal here is let's make another contiguous uncorrupted water. We'll get the tile ID for it, and then we'll just make a button that says we press this button and it's uncorrupted. Then we just need to script fade to black when it's corrupted, flip the switch, update our animatables, and then fade from black, and it'll appear as if the corruption is washed away. Or yeah, because I'm trying to think of a way we could like fade it in over time, but the animatable that is updating, well, you know what? We can just render it twice at a different. Let's experiment with it. I think we can actually do some fancy-ish fading for it. So let's open up our global master sheet here. Now we've got corrupted water, and I did not leave any space for it to be uncorrupted. So we need 4 tiles of contiguous space for the water here, and we're gonna pull it from this line. RZ, I started work on it in February of last year. So I started streaming in maybe January, and then I finished my last game up in my first 2 weeks here on Twitch, and then I started this game on Twitch in February. So I just passed my year sub anniversary, and I think I in the recent 2 weeks, I think I passed my affiliate anniversary, which was cool. Okay, so we're just gonna snag some water here. I don't know where to put it. I mean, we're kind of at the mercy of I don't know. I don't like this system all that much because I'm kind of just guessing. I think ideally what I'd want to do is probably just take a whole week and just make all new updated sprites and positioning, and just take a week to redraw the whole map. But the hard thing is only the collidable map objects are pulled from the values here. Well, actually, yeah, we have collidable wall objects pulled from a very specific row. We have collidable maps pulled from a very specific row. So some things are game breaking if we just change the positioning of some of these tiles and redraw them. That could still break the game, and if we don't pay attention to our collidable map row, which I highlighted red. So just to remind me, because we're kind of, I don't know, it's definitely a ghetto game. It's definitely ghetto because I don't know what I'm doing, but it's fun. Okay, we're gonna pull our blue from Aquis here, actually. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, I like that. It's like I like that color. Okay, so we've got our new uncorrupted water, which is very pretty. So let's see here. We're gonna export. Actually, we're just gonna save because it's a PNG. We just saved it. Okay, so we're looking for the tile ID starting and ending tile ID for the water here, which is just to the left of our red bucket. So let's just pull that starting ID, code it in as a enum, and then we can experiment. Gosh, dude, my room is so freaking hot. It is bad. Okay, we should have this thing called tiles numbered. Okay, so if we look at the tile IDs, we have a little Python script that exports little numbers on these tiles. So it's a 240 to 243. So let's hard code in an enum 240 to 243. So I'm gonna go, what do we do? Water. We're gonna find our enum here. So god damn it, I already forgot it. 203? God damn it. Cut that. Brain of a turtle. 240. Oh man. There's a funny story I can tell you, Salto, sometime about what do you mean of environments? My brain literally forgot the number again. 240. Okay, so we've got these. We basically, whenever we press that N, we want to say, well, our water is now going to have a starting quad of the clean water starter. And then just right here too. Okay, let's test it out. We're gonna be, okay, so we've got our corrupted water. I'm gonna go to the scene with a lot of corrupted water, and we're gonna press N. We've got uncorrupted water. Cool. Do you make use of environments? Lua non-local. Variable environments. Yo, you're teaching me something. I don't mess with that. Non-local. Variable environments. Is that if you just declare things without local? Or is that something different? I don't know. I've got to read the more Lua documentation, to be honest. Oh, look how cool the pretty water looks. Okay. I want to test something. I want to test if we can do a little animation. Like a transition from one to the other. You know, fade in a blue over a purple so that we don't have to fade to black and cheese it, but to kind of animate a little transition. So let's look at where we're rendering our animatables. Oh yeah, never done that, RZ. I don't know. I'm down for learning though. I'll have to check it out. I treat Lua, dude, I know like 3 things about Lua. I know how to do a freaking for loop, and I know how to cycle through a table. I know if and else if. That's basically all I do. Okay, where are we updating our freaking... Where are we rendering our animatables? Well, let's just take a look. Maybe it's in our scene. Nope. Maybe it's in our map. Nope. Maybe it's in... Oh, did I just see it? No, debug print. Update. It wouldn't be here. We render our scene. We debug print. You know what? I think let's take a look at our insert anim again. Yeah, my room, dude, I'm like about to pass out from the heat in here. They're fancy, probably useless if a code base isn't structured with them in mind. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll take a look into that. I mean, we're about to be like at a great stopping point to rehaul a whole bunch of things before we develop the rest of the game, right? So like we're just about done with the demo. So we're in a great spot for that sort of refactoring because there are certain things that I know I should have done different now, and we should probably change them before we move forward. So now is about the great time for that refactor for the next leg. What the hell? Okay, so I'm gonna look for the insert anim, and I'm actually gonna see what it does again, because I forgot. Okay, it just executes the function of insert anim, yeah? And the insert anim function changes the ID. Okay. So I don't think we can do what I was thinking we can do, right? Because the way this is rendering is it's modifying it at its base ID level, which is the ground level ID. They allow a scope to have an alternate global table. Whoa. That's interesting. I can see how that could be useful for keeping track of different stuff. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so I'm not so sure we can do this. Because what we're literally doing when we change the anim is modify the ID level tile ID. Now, the only reason our sprites updated when we change the starting tile is because of the function we're inserting here on line 5 up. So it's like we execute this function over and over again, and it just takes from the anim spitter that's in that animatable and just changes its values, and then we're literally overriding our ground level tile ID with whatever the anim spitter is. Oh, gotcha, RZ. Okay, I mean, I'd be curious, to at least read a little bit about them and kind of see what's up. Yo, and how did you end up finding me? I don't know. Did you follow the other night? I don't remember you coming in. I see that you followed a couple days ago, though. The goal of the game is honestly for me to publish the game. but the goal of the game is, I keep calling it like to achieve harmony in the ecosystem. Like that's the theme, right? So there's a whole bunch of unbalanced corruption in the world at the beginning of the game, and you have to use your magic to restore balance within the world. So that's essentially just the goal. But yeah, I wanted I wanted a big project that I could actually release. So I committed to starting this series and publishing the game, because it's like, there's I don't know, it's just like, it's so easy to drop off of projects. So I really wanted something substantial that I commit to and really follow through. So it's just like the project before I move on to the next thing. So this is my 2D Game Boy game, right? My next game might be totally different. I started easy with a little bit of pixels and not, nothing 3D or anything. Yeah, so as soon as we change the water anim, we're changing the base level tile ID that's rendering. So I can't do the thing I was hoping to do, which is fade it in. But what we could do, we could just mimic, like all we need to do. Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah, I figured because if you're in here teaching me about Lua, you at least know something. So I thought that might be the case, that you just kind of stumbled in with Lua, which is cool. So yeah, welcome in. I know we've got a couple. I know Prosto streams Lua development, and Shaky Coder streams Lua development, and then Chalacade streams. I don't think he's on Twitch. I think he's just on YouTube though. But there's a couple of us out there. I'm really surprised there isn't more. I'm really surprised, because I think Lua is the easiest language to get behind. Yeah, I mean, like, compared to something like Unity or Unreal or something, it's like, it's so much less steep of a learning curve. Okay, well, we could do this thing. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how we might do this, because we could have because right here, by definition, all of our anims are on the ground level. So what we could do is just have a similar function to this that renders an above ground level tile, and then we can fade it in on top. To JavaScript? Really? Or is there another JS I'm thinking of? To JavaScript? Are you like deploying it to the web, or what's up with JavaScript? Language quality was not one of the reasons. Dude, JavaScript is like JavaScript, how would I describe it? It's like when you work with JavaScript, you're like you like JavaScript, right? It's like it can do a lot of weird stuff, but that's also the weird thing about it, is that it's just so weird. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a Frankenstein. It's like a really functional version of Frankenstein. Because like he can do a lot of stuff, but also like, if you look at what's going on, it's fucked up. It's like, Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking... Because what's weird about this is, like, we're defining... Well, fuck. I don't know what the move would be here. Because it's like, this is just such a niche thing we would want to do. There's only in this cinematic, really, we would want to do this. So I don't think we should add a global table. I think we should literally just add an animatable entity with... Well, see... Because then it gets tough, because it's like, well, it's nice because we already know all the tile IDs of the water that we want to change. So that's really nice. It's just that we can't render something over it, because the second we change it, it updates, and it's not, we can't fade it in or anything. I'm not exactly sure what to try. I think the move is, I think we just, well, because I don't know, I keep coming back to, I'm like, just write a little function that inserts, just do an anim spitter, but for the water one. But then we'd have to tell it manually every frame we want. Or we can, well, no, we can, okay. No, we can do it. We can do it pretty easily. So basically, I think what we need to do is make a whole new global anim spitter for uncorrupted water. Then that's going to be updating over time, just like everything else. Well, not in our cinematic though, so we'll have to make sure we can update it in the cinematic. So, in the cinematic state, yeah, because I'm pretty sure this insert anim's only updating in the play state. So we give ourselves a new global anim spitter for the uncorrupted water. Yo, I'm about to pass out. It is so freaking hot in my room. So once we have this new anim spitter of the uncorrupted water, then all we have to do is I guess all we'd have to do is manually say, oh, let's render this anim spitter, right? Anim spitter doesn't even have a render function to it, because it's literally just a number. It's literally just a dot frame that we're spitting out. So yeah, there's no render on it. So we would have, the frame that we would need to render, but we wouldn't have the X coordinates or Y coordinates to kind of place it. So I guess what we could do... Oh, shoot. Okay, I've kind of got an idea. So, like, all of our animations are definitely on the .id layer, which is the ground level tile ID. There's at least 3 different layers. There's ID, there's ID, which is ground level. There's above ground, and then there's top level tile. Yo, thanks for stopping by, RZ. I hope you have a good night. Thanks for hanging. We've got, ground level, above ground, top level. Now, in our map.lua, we only, if the thing has an animatable on it, we only render the animatable. So what we could do is have this kind of animatable transition layer assigned to the above ground tile ID. And we can do the same thing we're doing with the ground level animatables, except what we can do to little automate it, right? Because we need to know, we would want all the blue, all the blue tiles to, or all the purple tiles to turn into blue. So it'd be nice if we had access to all the tile IDs for the purple water, which we can do because we have that enum of the starting tile. So I think the move is we make a new enum spitter for uncorrupted water, and then this would be in our cinematic state. We switch to a cinematic state because we don't want this clogging up our play state, because it's a very specific type of behavior we want here, and it's probably not permanent. Well, you know what? It has to be permanent. So we kind of have to, if we want it permanent, we'd either have to change the global map, which wouldn't be that bad, or we just keep track of all of our above ground level enum spitters and just render them, and then we do that same thing where if we save, we just know that, hey, these need to be triggered. Yeah, well, we do have, I love that we've got it in the game, right? So like, worst comes to worst, we can just like program a big windstorm, right? Like we can have like windstorm flying in like this, and then we can just like change the water and play a sound effect, you know? Like worst comes to worst, we can do something like that and play with the sound effect or something. So if we can't figure out something we like, we can definitely do something like that. And this way is very easy to keep the water blue now. Oh, see? Oh man. This makes perfect sense because we don't render an enum spitter during a transition, so we'd have to change that, but that's totally modifiable. And it makes sense it would be purple until we're there, because we're not rendering or updating animatables during a scene transition. So that wouldn't be too bad to fix, but that is kind of cool. Yeah, the cleansed water looks so pretty. I love it. Okay, well, yeah, I don't know. I'll do some thinking about it. I'll do some thinking about it and see if I can envision a reason for us to have this functionality where we can update animatables to be a new one with like a scene. See, and the transition is what makes it tough, because we did it very easily where we just changed it with a one stroke of a key. We changed all the purple water to blue. That was easy. But it's not easy to do a little transition. So maybe we can do see, and what's tough is like we're literally just changing the ID of the tile. So it's not like we can say, hey, before you render your animatables, just put this little shader on there. Like, we don't have that ability because we're literally modifying the ground level tile IDs just like we're rendering every other tile in the game. So it's not quite as adjustable like that kind of sounds like it could be. So I don't know. I'll do some thinking and we'll see if we can tackle that tomorrow. But I think I'm gonna call it a night. Thanks for hanging, y'all. I'll be back tomorrow and we'll try to get the final cinematic loading in here. Even if we gotta fake it a bit, whatever, you know, I'll do some thinking and make a decision on what we ultimately want for the game, and then we'll go and implement it tomorrow. So I think that's on the docket. Yo, thanks for hanging, Salto. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it's a curse, you know, just gotta do it. It's a blessing and a curse, you know. It's like Yeah, man. I mean, I always told myself it's just 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. Like, the consistency is what matters. So I'm glad I hopped on, and yeah, it's been a wild month, man. It's been a wild month with all this. We got so much done. I love how, like, it's insane how much we got done. Yeah, dude. Yeah, really. Well, and that's funny because my partner has this Finch game. It's like a what's it called? The Tamagotchi. It's like a little pet that you do little tasks for and stuff. And like if you don't do it in every day, then I always say I killed my Finchie because I just never do my Finchie. And then she's always giving me shit like you can't even do that. You can't even do that 3 days in a row. I'm like, no, but I do the shit I care about every day. So yeah, I'm just not about to Finchie. I don't know. Well, yeah, it was good. Today was good. We figured out how to change animatables globally, which is really nice. But there's some more stuff going on. Yeah, I don't know what it is about it. I mean, like, I get the appeal and stuff, but it's like my Finchie's so dead. My Finchie is so dead. Just like my Nintendogs. My Nintendogs are skeletons at this point. Oh man, my Nintendogs. Oh, they're so dead right now. Well, on that note, thanks for hanging. I'll call it a night. I've got work in the morning anyway, so I gotta get it going. We already ran credits apparently. Let's see if we can raid out to anybody as we run credits again. So many dead. Every Nintendog ever. I know there's like one auntie who has a Nintendog that she just takes care of every day, so there's gotta be one out there that's still alive. Hey, okay, I don't know who to raid. Well, the person I just tried to raid does not allow raids apparently, so let's... I don't know, it's always a crapshoot raiding someone random, like... You know what? We've got a homie streaming we'll raid out to. Jed. So, yeah. Have a good night. I'll catch you later, homie. Peace out.